then was the editing out by the order of the court? He is talking about the plaintiff. No, thank you very much. In the name of God, Your Honor,
عن اشتراكهما مع المجموعة في ضرب موكب رئيس الجمهورية في الدجيل. هل شاهد فارس أمين الخربطلي أحمد سلمان
المنعم أحمد سلمان talking on Al-Fayha channel that they participated with another group talking about it, trying to assassinate the president? Did you watch this TV footage? No, I did not hear anything. The witness before said that he saw them on TV talking about that. So I question this testimony. So as for his testimony about the head of the president of the Revolutionary Court, it's because of a grudge that he has, because he claims that his father and uncles died. When the head of the court issues a judgment, he will be applying the law of the prevailing law in the country at that time.
In
the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, God give us patience and make us steadfast against the infidels. I have a question, legal question, so that I comprehend and understand, so that I know my rights, regardless whether this court is legitimate or illegitimate. Regardless of that, the Quran, that is a resource, a basic source for our law is the Quran and the Sharia, the Islamic Sharia. A man, a human being, will not be entrusted with any major issue or whose testimony is accepted except when he is at a legal age. I'm giving you texts. I'm not giving you my own interpretation. That is a text. That's a known text. So the issue we are talking about is not a simple issue. Would a witness that is underage to be taken in consideration as he could be asked for during the investigation? Maybe he will give some good investigative so that to get on a certain track during the investigation. But before a court, a man come and become a witness in such an issue, and his testimony is documented and accepted, and he is underage. This is something that I would like to understand. Is this allowed? Is this permissible? Document his objection about the testimony of the witness because he was underage. At the same time, please, I'm told was the TV outside in a paper. Is it legally permissible to take the testimony that is underage? This is number one. We are getting this on record. Another issue, if you allow me, Your Honor. When a man lies once, he can lie twice. This is a rule. If you lie once, you may lie more than one time. But reverse is not true. If you're honest one time, it doesn't mean that you're always honest. But if all of his life is honest, then the lying will become the exception. It will be questionable until it's proven. The prosecutor lied to the court. Yes. No. Yes. He said that the defendant, he means the staff of the court. No, the court is a court. He means the court staff that controls the broadcast. Your Honor, let there not be. Your Honor, please. This is slander. You said that yourself. Your Honor, he started with slandering the prosecutor, and the court did not stop him. Do you see? If the court with the prosecutor, they are not complying. But the word you chose, lying, is a tough word. I did not say outside his own words. I described his word. Okay, I will say he alleged, he claimed. The lawyers know. Our ethics say, we say what he said is incorrect. We don't say lied. I did not practice law. You know me. I put the dots on the letters in politics and everywhere. And that's why the Zionism and Americans, the politicians, they dislike Saddam Hussein. And the White House lies once more. The #1 liar in the world, that they said in Iraq there is chemicals and a relationship to terrorism, and then they announced later that we couldn't find any of that in Iraq. What I'd like to say, also, they said that what Saddam Hussein was not true. I have documented the injuries I had before 3 American medical teams consequently in place A, in place B, and in place not C. The defendant should go to the asking the witness not go outside of the scope, please. Your Honor, we don't have a paper. We don't have a spokesperson to speak on our behalf. We give that to you. You deal with. This is an attack for a president that was your president for 35 years. So it's as if to say that the Iraq is accepted with a liar as a president. The enemies are the liars. How you deal with that is up to you. But I tell you before you that I documented my injuries before 3 medical teams, two for sure, unequivocally 2, and 8 months for now, almost healing now 8 months later, and some bruises and marks 3 years later are still clear. We don't lie. The White House lies. Thank you very much. Your Honor, the witness, if I call him brother, he may get not like that, like yesterday. Was he arrested for this incident? No, he was not arrested. He answered that saying he was not arrested. They arrested those who arrested his father and his uncles. Who were they? Who was the responsible party for arresting your father and uncles? The security officer? Yes, I heard that, but I wanted to make sure. So in light of that, I ask him another question. What is the relationship between the arrest and the intelligence? If those who came and took him were not the intelligence, what's the relationship of the intelligence? After they were arrested in the jail, they took them to the intelligence. How did you know that? From my late grandmother, may she rest in peace.
For those of us just joining us, we are watching the trial against Saddam Hussein and 7 co-defendants on charges of crimes against humanity. We are listening to the first of 2 witnesses that are expected to come before this court on this day. What we have been seeing is the witness recounting his recollections of what went on in the jail in 1982. He was cross-examined also by the defense for Saddam. Thank you very much. Back to you. I'd like to cross over now to our correspondent in Baghdad, Anish Rahman, who is in the courthouse listening and viewing all this in real time. We're watching it with a 20-minute delay, and he joins us now to tell us what's happening right now. Anish.
Ralitza, we're now hearing from the second witness today, but just before that, a very heated exchange between the defendants, primarily Saddam Hussein and his half-brother. You see him there, Barzan Hassan al-Takriti, and the court. Essentially, the speech that Barzan Hassan al-Takriti is embarking on here questions the validity of the court to censor parts of the proceedings, to cut the audio, to cut the video. He says that anything that the defendants say should be shown live, that they have a responsibility not to cut anything that exits its court. He spoke at quite length about the issue. The judge said it will take it into consideration. At one point, though, Barzan Hassan al-Takriti getting very animated. The guards come and surround the pen where he's sitting, and as he sits down, he slams his notebook. He says, "Long live the Ba'ath Party." He challenged the prosecutors. He said that the main chief prosecutor is a former member of the Ba'ath Party. The prosecutors then responded, saying that this was a huge insult. One of the other prosecutors threatening to resign unless the judge steers this case back on track towards the case at hand. He said that political statements are being allowed to be made by these defendants. Barzan Hassan al-Takriti, again, just slamming his notebook down. And at that point, the defense lawyers all stood up, saying that one of the guards had insulted the defendants, the guards who were surrounding the pen. At that moment, literally near all of the defendants as well stood up, Saddam Hussein, Barzan Hassan al-Takriti, Taha Yassin Ramadan. And for a moment, there was some confusion in the court. The defense lawyers threatened to walk out unless the guard was replaced. The judge tried to get a handle of the situation. Saddam Hussein told the judge it was his responsibility to deal with this guard. He said a small employee has done something without your permission. The judge then called the guard. He spoke to him at his bench for just a few minutes and then announced that the judge would be replaced. That the guard would be replaced. We then saw the guard walk out of the courtroom. So for some moments it was unclear exactly what was taking place, but the defense lawyers threatening to walk out, the defendants standing up, telling the judge that he had to take action against the guard. The guard was asked to leave, and now we're hearing from the second witness. This is all part of this battle. At one point, another co-prosecutor stood up and laid out. Let's listen to Barzan Hassan al-Takriti.
From since that time, on the path of blood, some of my party comrades, they may not support me in this, but this is my personal conviction. Since that time, Iraq had been on the path of blood. And she was pleading with them not to kill that young boy, the King Faisal, but nobody looked at the Quran, nobody looked at that innocent young man, and they killed him and killed even the woman. Then they killed Abdul Qadir Qasim. Only Abdul Rahman Arif was rescued saved when we made the change. And another time this is happening. This is the third time I tell you, if there is an interest for the Iraqi people, I speak on my own behalf. If my execution benefits the Iraqi people, yes, because I am for my Iraqi and for my people. As for the others, I would think that they feel the same way. But by God, Your Honor, this operation is going to will let Iraq go deeper in blood. Your Honor, he mentioned that there is an association. Let me tell you some details. The association gave him death certificates. I would like to give my opinion. We don't think that this association is credible. Yes, go ahead and put this on record. He does not believe in the credibility of the Association of the Free Prisoners. The other issue, Your Honor, I would like to ask this person, why are you complaining against those 4 people? What's the relationship between those 4? While in fact he knows exactly who arrested his father and uncles. Why are you complaining? Because they are the responsible people in the government. Each person in charge directs his people. In any case, his answer, I'll leave the answer for you to deal with. The last thing, Your Honor, is related to the broadcast, transmission of what's happening in the courtroom. I'd like to repeat again. I personally, I don't defend myself. You saw that when they talk about the comrade Taha and others, I am convinced that this issue is related to the reputation and history of this country. So I was comfortable to a certain extent that when something happens that you cannot prevent, then at least you have a clear conscience that you did your part, or you're not party to it. So I was comfortable to a certain extent that everybody is watching what's going on. They will hear from the prosecutor and they will hear from the defendant. And people are not fools. We shouldn't consider them fools. They should compare, so the country will be treated fairly. But now I heard that some of the statements are being edited out, especially what is being edited out is really related or coming from the defendants, as we're called here. So why, Your Honor, are they editing out? This is violating of the rights of history and the country and the rights of the quote-unquote of the defendants, quote-unquote. If Your Honor, you are in charge, I will talk to you about that. I'll take you to task about that. But I'm talking to you. I'll ask you for a resolution because you are number 1.